Good morning, lovers. So wonderful to be with you on today's Cuppa with Katie show. And today I am celebrating men. I think that men need celebrating. I work with a lot of single women, and a lot of the work we do, a lot of the focus oftentimes is belief systems around men that are pretty darn negative. And I get it, and it makes sense with the experience many women have had in past relationships. And men kind of get a bit of a bad rap, and today I want to take a stand for beautiful men. There's lots of good ones out there, and if you are a single woman who desires to call in a man, maybe what I'm going to share with you today is just a nice little reminder that there are beautiful men in the world who too are single and looking for you. Your man is out there looking for you, remember. And these empowered men, okay, so what I'm speaking to today is the empowered man. And the empowered man is someone that's willing to do the work on himself. You are an empowered woman if you're choosing to do the work on yourself. It's all about the inner work, isn't it? And the empowered man desires nothing more than to honor and protect and serve and hold safe his woman. Empowered men live for that stuff, okay? And I know on my journey, all those years being single and feeling so ready to call in love, one of my biggest blockers was the realization that I didn't actually really believe that such a man existed. Like it was a total pipe dream, that a man existed that desired to honor me and respect me and serve me and keep me safe. It was a nice idea. And it's not like I didn't see that there were men in the world like that. But from my perspective at the time, there were few and far between. They were already taken. And really, even though I had evidence that some, and for me then it really was, there's some existed, but they were taken, I thought. And quite frankly, you were lucky to meet somebody like that. And it wasn't until I really uncovered all of these belief systems I had about men, and there were more, and it went deeper and deeper and deeper. And fundamentally, I had a belief system running that men just fundamentally couldn't be trusted. And while I believed that, and so it was true. You know, while I believed men couldn't be trusted, I found myself in relationships where trust, for different reasons and on different levels, became a problem. Perhaps I couldn't trust them emotionally. Perhaps I couldn't trust them mentally. Perhaps I couldn't trust them physically. But we get what we believe, right? We get what we focus on. And it wasn't until I started to create the awareness around my sabotaging beliefs around men that I then had something to work with and heal. And some of that healing went right back to my childhood, around what was modeled to me around men and experiences I had around men, and what I witnessed, what I heard. I made it mean, no fault of my own. I was a little girl, I didn't know any better, but I made certain experiences mean that, I blanketed that men couldn't be trusted, that I shouldn't expect from men, or I would get let down. It was a biggie for me that had to be healed. And so a big part of my healing journey to calling in my soulmate was healing my relationship to the masculine, and to starting to understand and see, create evidence, and really deeply believe in my bones. Like, it was a real spiritual shift for me to believe in my bones that good men existed, and that I was meant to be loved by an empowered man, to be taken care of, to be kept safe, to be honored, to be worshipped even by a good, empowered man. So that was a huge part of my journey, and I won't go into this today, but a big part of that was learning to trust and create a healthy relationship with my own inner masculine energy. So it started there because my relationship to my own inner masculine was very disempowered. I had a very disempowered masculine energy running the show in my life. So I had to work to up level my own masculine energy, to move my own masculine from disempowered into empowered. So I had that empowered energy within me, worshiping me, honoring me, respecting me, taking care of me, making my goals, desires, and dreams come true in a way that felt really good and supportive for me. Okay, so that was a big part of my work, and then that kind of filtered out beautifully into changing up my belief systems about the men in the world, and that good empowered men did exist. So if you're joining me live, please say hello. If you're on the replay, please type #replay. I'm going to share a little bit more about, it's a fairly quick one today. I have a train to catch. I'm off to London today. But I want to talk a little bit more about how an empowered man, like some of the qualities of an empowered man. I've pretty much given a bunch of them away already, and then I have a little reading to do for you. And this could be for the men in your life as well. By the way, this is a book by David Deida. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. I know a bunch of my clients I've recommended it to. My coach way back when recommended it to me, and I actually bought it for James. You can see inside there's it says, "Darling, to me you are perfect, and I thought you might like this book." I didn't want to give him this book by way of suggesting there was anything wrong with him. But the subtitle to this is A Spiritual Guide to Mastering the Challenges of Women, Work, and Sexual Desire. It's an absolutely brilliant book for men. I personally found it as a woman the most enlightening read because it helps me to understand women better. It helped me to understand myself better. It helped me to understand the feminine and how the feminine and the masculine flow and work well together. It just describes it so beautifully. So I think it was written to help a man understand women, to help a man understand himself, to help a man understand, like it says, women, work, and sexual desire. And for a woman to read this, to help her understand herself as well as the masculine, it was so game changing because this highlighted to me how it was possible for empowered men and women to come together and just work beautifully together. And this is important information. If you want to have an empowered relationship, there's lots of great books out there. This happens to be one of my favorite. And I'm going to do a little reading from chapter 34, which is entitled, "She Wants to Relax in a Demonstration of Your Direction." So let me just say good morning to who is telling me that they're here. Ruth, hello, my darling. I'm early today, aren't I? And Kellyanne, hello, guys. So lovely to see you. So let's just talk just real quick about the qualities of an empowered man, because this is awareness is the first step to change. So knowing what the qualities of an empowered man are is key to opening up your own energy to be receptive to receiving that. If you don't even know it exists, how can you be receptive to receiving it? So we need to create a bit of awareness first, right? Having some of it's Camellia's Tea, by the way. If you have heard of Camellia's Tea House, I'm going to an event at a spa at a hotel in London, very swanky, today, hosted by Camellia's Tea, amongst other sponsors. And I happen to love their tea. And it's a sleep event that I'm going to today. So I'm going to be learning all about sleep, and there'll be massage and meditation and all sorts of yummy things. I'm really looking forward to it. So, okay, in a nutshell, because I've got to keep it short because I do have a train to catch, an empowered man, the nature of empowered masculine energy. Let's talk about that. The nature of empowered masculine energy. This applies to your own inner masculine, and it applies to an empowered man. The empowered masculine lives to serve the feminine. Okay, the empowered masculine lives to serve the feminine. It is, I'm going to use the term his, although it's an energy, it's not a gender, but it's just easy to speak to it. So this empowered masculine energy, his desire is to serve and make happen. He's all about the doing. So the empowered masculine is the doing energy. It makes happen. It gets shit done, right? He is inspired by the desires of the feminine. So the work of the feminine, when you're doing your empowered feminine work, a big chunk of that work is tapping into your desires, being connected to what it is you want to call into your life, how you want to experience your life, how you want to feel. She knows that. And she's connected to source energy as well. And she receives her guidance. She's tapped into her spiritual truth. She knows who she is, and she knows how she wants to show up authentically in the world. And that energy inspires the masculine into action to making that happen. It's his honor, it's his pleasure to do whatever needs to be done to take the feminine where she desires to go, to have the feminine feel the way she desires to feel. A really powerful quality of the empowered masculine is to just hold space. For the feminine energy, I have this image in my mind when I kind of feel into masculine feminine. I see the masculine energy as like this safe harbor, like a really protected harbor, and it's pretty, something pretty like Portofino, if you've ever been there. In Italy, it's stunning. And you come into this sort of this secluded cove, and it's the way it's designed, it's super protected. That you're not going to get any rough stormy weather in this cove, and it's pretty. But it's a safe harbor. So the empowered masculine is a safe harbor, and within that, the feminine her emotional range can move and flow and fluctuate. So sometimes the feminine so I just said Portofino is a really like flat, like doesn't experience the weather, but actually it does. I used to work on super yachts way back in my late 20s. And I remember I was working on a yacht, and we were moored up just outside of Portofino Harbor. But I remember we had bad weather, and I remember in that harbor, it's still got pretty choppy, and that's the feminine. And we love this about the feminine. And this book speaks so beautifully to it. It celebrates this aspect of the feminine, which is this range of emotion, this beautiful range of emotion. Sometimes she is calm and tranquil and still like a Mediterranean on a perfect summer's day. And sometimes she is stormy and black, and there's thunder and there's lightning, and she feels out of control. And the empowered masculine can hold all of it. The empowered masculine can hold the whole range and not judge it, can allow it, can have her feel safe and held while she moves through all of these emotions. This is something that my husband is really, really good at. He blows me away at excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. It's too early for me to be doing this show. But he's so good at just holding space for me and my range of emotion. And as a busy woman, a businesswoman, entrepreneur, a mom, a perimenopausal woman, like I have a big emotional range, and especially around certain times of the month, it's like, it's a bit like this. And I have a really excellent relationship with myself. So I am able to manage my own range, to honor and accept and allow my own range. And that's a big part of the work. Like, you don't get to be with an empowered man in an empowered relationship if you're not an empowered woman doing your work, taking care of you. So, it's not about he handles your emotions. Not at all. You handle your emotions. He just isn't threatened by them. He isn't challenged by them. He trusts you because you're doing your work. He can trust you. He will hold steady, safe space for you to work and move within. Does that make sense? It's a beautiful, beautiful dynamic. It does take practice. It's not something that most people are taught. We're not taught how to show up like this as men and women. Most of us didn't witness parents that were able to do that for each other. Some did, and those of you that did are like, mwah, you are the lucky few. Most of us these days are learning how, and James and I are learning how, but actually we do pretty good with it. And by the way, sometimes my masculine has to hold the safe harbor for his feminine, for his range of emotions. I mean, me being, identifying as a woman in a woman's body, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that my emotional range is bigger than his. And sometimes, we call him, he's like, I think I'm on my period. His emotions come up too. And that's when my empowered masculine can step forward and hold safe harbor for him. So let me, because I need to move on because I got my train, let me do this little reading for you. So I just invite you to just receive what you're meant to receive from, I'm going to read, it's 2.5 pages. Receive what you're meant to receive from this. Allow it perhaps to be a healing. Allow it perhaps to be an awareness creation. This chapter, I feel, is very directed at men, and how he can behave in such a way to allow a woman to surrender to him, to feel safe and trusting to surrender to him. And this just might speak to, even if you're single, what I'm about to read might speak to your desires around how you'd like to feel with a man. And it's really important to tap into those desires and then bring those desires, that feeling, into your vision for what you're calling in when it comes to manifestation. Anyway, let me read it. Sit back, have your cup of tea, close your eyes, receive these beautiful words, and just see what lands for you. Okay, oh, my glasses do need a bit of a clean. Oh, well. Okay, so the title is She Wants to Relax in the Demonstration of Your Direction. A woman must be able to trust you to take charge if she relaxes her own masculine edge. This is true financially, sexually, emotionally, and spiritually. The man doesn't have to actually do all the work, but he must be able to steer the course if his woman is going to relax into her feminine without fear. And this is what we want, right? Women, we want to be able to relax into our feminine without fear. And there are men out there, which is why Friday's International Men's Day, we're celebrating men. Those guys do exist. And there are those guys in the world who are rising to take up this place of the empowered man. There are a lot of men doing their work now, a lot. Some women want to be in charge most of the time. This desire to guide direction, handling the remote control for the TV, or choosing the city in which to live is a masculine desire in men and women. If your woman has a more masculine sexual essence, she will prefer to be in charge of the direction of your lives most of the time. But if your woman has a feminine sexual essence, there will be times that she would like to pleasurably relax and let go of being in charge. She would like to relax in her feminine and let you make the decisions. If you're not able to take charge, if you don't know the direction you want to go, your woman will feel you floundering. She will have to take charge again since you are unable, and she won't be able to relax. The more relaxed she is in her feminine, the more radiant your woman will be. You have probably noticed that your woman's radiance can change instantly. One moment, she might seem dull and weary. Then, perhaps after you praise her or surprise her with a gift of love, suddenly she is glowing. She looks 15 years younger. The lines in her face have disappeared in seconds. If you want your woman to be able to relax into her feminine and shine her natural radiance, then you must relieve her of the necessity to be in charge. This doesn't mean you need to boss her around. It means you need to know where you are heading and how you are going to get there. in every way, including financially and spiritually. If you have the slightest uncertainty or ambiguity about your financial future, your woman will feel it. You don't have to say anything about it. She'll feel your doubt or ambiguity in your body, eyes, and the tone of your voice. It's not that you have to make a lot of money. You just have to be responsible for your finances and take your future into account. You might choose to be a monk. What's important is that you are clear, accountable, and directed from your deepest core of wisdom. Then your woman can relax. She knows where you stand and what your plans are. She can feel your integrity. She can trust your direction because she knows it comes from your deepest core. She's not swimming in the air of your uncertainty, but standing on solid ground, the ground that you've provided by your clarity. Even more important is your spiritual direction. Where is your relationship going? What are your lives about? What does it all add up to? How will the two of you continue to grow without getting stuck in the ruts of mediocrity? If your woman feels that you have lost your spiritual direction, she will seek direction herself and attempt to impose it on you, since you don't seem to have any yourself. If she feels that you are totally absorbed in your work, for instance, and when you're not obsessing about your career, you're absorbed in TV, then she will wonder, is this it? Is this what our relationship amounts to? Is this the highest vision that my man sees? If she feels you lacking in your financial clarity or your spiritual clarity, she will not be able to relax with you. She will automatically begin directing her own life and probably yours too. She will develop her own masculine direction since you are lacking, and by doing so, her radiance will diminish. The more ambiguous you seem financially and spiritually, the more she will need to pour her energy and attention into her own masculine direction and goals. For some women, this is great. They need to develop their own masculine energy. Other women, however, have already developed their masculine. They would like the opportunity to relax their own masculine and receive yours as a gift. How can you tell if your woman's self-direction is healthy for her? If she becomes more and more full and happy as she pursues her direction, then it's good for her. If she becomes more and more stressful, taut, and emotionally angular, then she is animating excess masculine direction. She's pushing herself in ways that may signal your irresponsibility. How can you be more responsible? Not necessarily by doing more work. You become more responsible by knowing your deepest purpose and then arranging your finances and spiritual life from that knowingness. For your woman to relax in her radiance and feminine happiness, she needs to feel that she can get on your train and that it's exactly going where she wants to go. It doesn't matter if your woman earns more or less money than you, or even if she earns all the money in the relationship. What matters is if she can feel your loving clarity, wisdom, and certainty of direction. As long as she can feel that you're taking the finances into account and arranging your lives together so that the deepest love and fullest gifts can manifest, she will be able to trust your masculine direction and relax in her feminine heart of radiance. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. I feel like that's so important for single women who are wanting to be in a relationship to tap into how it would feel to be with an empowered man. It helps you, I believe, to tap into your true desire. Like, is this not speaking the truth of how you want to feel in a relationship and maybe haven't been able to put words to it? Like, when I read this entire book, that's how it felt for me. I was like, oh my God, this guy he's putting into words what my feminine feels, what my feminine needs from her man. And for a man to hear that, for a man to read this, it's guiding him and showing him how he can have his woman feel safe. And his masculine wants to do that. It's just that probably nobody ever taught him how. And so there are men, I assure you, there are men out there learning this. They want to know how to serve you, because not only does it make you feel good, it makes him feel good. He wants to feel good as well. He wants to feel empowered, and he can feel empowered by learning how to be of service to the feminine. But ladies, the feminine, to speak to the feminine energy, I don't want to dismiss different, I don't want to, this isn't a gender conversation, but, we all, men and women, need to tap into our feminine to know what it is that we want in the first place, to then enable the masculine to be able to serve and provide that for us in a safe way that feels good for us. So I hope that something that I've shared today has resonated with you. I hope that it's awakened something within you. I hope that it's inspired you in some way. And I hope that you'll join me today in really, truly celebrating men. They're just like us. They're humans. They're spiritual beings having a human experience. They're here doing their best in this world, just as we are. And I know, and I remember from being single, and I can still do it sometimes with James now, and I have to really rein myself in. We expect such perfection from them. God forbid they screw up. God forbid they make a mistake. God forbid they get it wrong. God forbid they not be fully empowered all the time. But I make mistakes. I get it wrong. I screw up. I'm not empowered all the time. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I'm committed to the journey. And there are men in this world who are too. So, I feel a calling for compassion and kindness to the masculine today, as well as celebrating them. And in that celebration, allowing the energy and the intention of the celebration to lift them up and see them in their fullest potential, their fullest light. As we are able to see ourselves in our own light and see our fullest potential, so too must we see it in them and each other. I'm going to leave it on that note. Here's to International Men's Day on Friday. Tell the men in your world that you love them, that you appreciate them. The masculine loves to be told that he's loved and appreciated, because when he is, he wants to be of higher service even more. I could go on and on. We love men. I love men. Love you too. Hope you've received something fab from today, and I will see you next Wednesday. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.